Welcome back, everybody, to the world of Rkayo. I got with you guys a quick deck profile with a new brute who plays very different from all the other brutes, and actually reminds me more of kind of like Mystic Heroes with his ability needing so many resources. And at least in my list, is playing a ton of blues, 33 blues. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Apex Bonebreaker, we're playing this over the new Gauntlet because I don't think we're playing enough blues that have 6 attack or more to be able to pitch into that Gauntlet. So this effect to create a might actually triggers a little bit more than if you were running the other Gauntlet. You can try the other arm and let me know if it's good for you. This is a very early deck profile, so any ideas, thoughts, anything you don't like, anything you do really like, let me know down below. Share your experience with this deck. As always, I forgot to say, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment down below if you're excited for Rkayo. Big Bully, this card is absolutely insane. It's a super rare, but this is pretty much a majestic. If you have more life, when this attacks, the crowd boos you. And if you've been booed, the base attack is doubled. So this goes up to an 8. But if you use Rkayo's ability, it goes up to a 12. And also, this making the crowd boo you gives you a vigor. If you saw my live deck profile, you saw that Mocking Blow. I think I cut it down to only the red version, but Rkayo actually uses Mocking Blow crazy. So we're playing all 9 copies, the rainbow copies here. And with such a strong armor suite, you're actually able to stay above your opponent's life points a lot of the time. So this booing you, if you can chain vigors back to back, you can become really strong, do some really powerful plays. Looking for scrap, such a great extender. Again, we're talking about that one resource. You can just play this off of vigor, and you have so many one attack powers. So it's so easy to just meet the condition for the go again. Now, if you don't have vigor and you just have a blue, doing looking for scrap into something like swing big or the new swing big, show of strength is pretty powerful. You're doing 3 card 13, which is pretty crazy. Now, punch above your weight. This is very interesting because this card with a vigor and 2 blues lets you go all the way to 11. I haven't tested this card too much. I think it's pretty good here, and often your opponent kind of has to guess if you're gonna do Rkayo or not. If they overblock, you just don't have to use his ability. This one's a little different since you have to do it when it attacks, so it'll go up to a 7 if you pay 3. But then Rkayo can boost it by 5 more. So it's really interesting because he doesn't have dominate or confidence, but his ability kind of gives him evasive damage. I already explained these 2 for 8s, just great value. And also if you block with them and your Apex Bonebreaker gives you a Might token. Villainous Pose, the crowd booing you is actually kind of hard to do in Rkayo, but this essentially gives you a vigor. So you pay 2 into it, you get +4 on your next attack, and you're going to get a vigor for your next turn. And this pumps everything. So I was playing some of the heavy hitter pumps, and they only pump brute attacks or brute and guardian attacks. But a lot of the super slam pumps just pump everything. So pretty interesting. One of the few yellows we're playing. I think this is only 6 yellows with the Mocking Blow and Send Packing. This is just brute CNC. I think this is too good to not play it, so definitely are playing it. Now the blue base is pretty interesting. I think Booze is just a nice block 3. You can play on turn 1, or if you have to convert your entire hand. This is pretty good. It can turn into 2 Vigors, and Vigors is pretty great in this deck. Energetic Impact. It's another way to get a Vigor. Of course, you do need a block with a 6 attack or more. So, like I said, we have very few of those, but it will come up here and there. It's a blue block 3. Flex Strength is pretty powerful. It's only 2 base attack, which is really good. We kind of want low base power because when we do Rkayo's effect, it's going to go up to a 6. And if this is a 6, it gives itself +3. So it goes all the way to 9 for a blue. Now, you will need quite a lot of resources. Rko needs 4, and this needs 2. So it's kind of like a 3 blue hand. 9 value from 3 blues is pretty okay, 3 from each card. But when you start having like vigors, when you start rolling vigors, or even if you have like tunics, you can start, playing this without needing all the blues. Or maybe if you have like a yellow or red and you're short a little bit, the vigors and tunic can help you kind of cheat this out. Instill fear. I don't know if this is making the final cut. I think it's pretty interesting for late game. Being able to intimidate them, bring this up to 6. This could be cut, but I thought it was an interesting sort of a late game card. Offensive behavior. This is basically an Rko specialization. He's the only hero that can play this. This is a Reviled Brute card. Nothing crazy, but this along with your Rko brings it up to 6, and it makes you a might and a vigor on hit. So pretty cool. This is the other Rko spec that really I think is gonna shine with a lot of deck builders. This is I think this is the only card that you can bring a card from your inventory to your hand. So this is a no block, but another cool thing is this actually gives your Mandible Claw go again. Being able to discard this, kind of like how the OG KO uses wind up. So if you attack with your Mandible Claw, discard outside interference, you're going to give it go again. And then you're able to pick a reviled card. Actually reviled attack action. So it's pretty interesting. I just put bully tactics and escalate violence as options. I think this is really going to shine when you're making your deck and just thinking like, oh, I can have 3 copies of a card, but I just have to play it in my inventory. I just need 1. And you can kind of like flex on demand. Like, let's say you just need this to block 3. You can just discard it. Just get something that blocks 3. Very versatile card. And yeah, another Rko specialization, essentially. Reviled Brute. So I think it definitely should be played in the deck. Overcrowded. Again, these low base attacks I think are really shining here. And sometimes when you're playing this deck, this can block for like 4 against certain decks that are also making auras. Sometimes this can block a crazy amount. So great card. I think it's going to be a staple in a lot of decks. Rowdy Locals can provide an on hit. If it hits, you can discard a card and your opponent has to discard a card too. Haven't tested too much into this, but I do think it's solid. It does kind of suck that you need to keep a card, but oftentimes, it's enough to just threaten them to block it out. And also, if it's defended by an action card, it gets +2. So if you play this and you do your Rko ability, this goes up to an 8. So for a blue with an on hit, that's pretty powerful. Smashing Ground's kind of just like a role filler. It's another CNC brute card. If you just have 1 might, this basically becomes a CNC. Of course, they can use D-Reacts, but pretty good for a blue. Cost 3. And Rkayo, I think I'm just playing this kind of for the blue block 3 and gives you that flexibility of using it with Apex Bonebaker to make a might. Besides that, I don't think we're ever casting it. I mean, you're doing 3 card 6 since this requires you to discard a random card. Maybe in the late game it's something you can do, but it's kind of here just as a blue block 3. This can definitely be switched out. Now, this is a super early deck profile, so let me know if you guys, any cards I missed that you think really shine in this deck. I think another great card is this Steel Victory. I don't think it's going to come up against a lot of decks, but maybe since more decks are making auras, being able to steal an aura is pretty crazy, and it blocks 3. Blue block 3s are always pretty good. Being able to take a Vigor or a Might can give this like 4 value. So I think this is definitely something that should be in the inventory. Sadistic Scowl, I thought possibly he could run it. I think maybe this is sort of like a late game card. Once you have a bunch of blues in your deck, if you can like pitch stack this, Intimidate, give +5, and then Rkayo ability as well on some of your blues, I think it could have a place in the deck, but who knows? I think I just really like this card, and I think the Reviled heroes could possibly use this. But that's pretty much it, everybody. Thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any cards you think I should add to the list. As always, I'll leave the deck list in the description below if you want to try it out for yourself. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Peace.